beautiful San Jose, California. And today is our first, well, it's not the 1st of April, but it's the first Friday in April. And I wanted to do another bread class, another Let's Get Baked with Michelle lesson. I'm about to go to London, everyone, tomorrow with my little boy and my husband who has a conference there next week. I'm kind of piggybacking along, and it's our son's spring break as well as our anniversary. So, hey, watch out, London, here I come. And as you know, as a person who values the nutritional aspects of eating freshly milled flour, I am concerned about traveling with it. In the past, I have actually traveled with my bread machine. If you don't know, TSA actually says that it's okay to travel with a bread machine in domestically in America. And I've taken my bread machine, not this one because this one's expensive, but an old one that I have to on trips, and I've baked bread in my hotel with the bread machine, which is such a great idea. The Zojirushi company actually has a smaller bread machine, and there are people I know as well as people online like Grains in Small Places who use their bread machines or bake bread in small spaces. Like, she is living in a travel trailer, as I believe, so that's her lifestyle. So her entire freshly milled baking process is happening inside of a small space. Anyway, if you can bring a bread machine with you, it's a great idea because it can bake you a bread freshly every day, hands free. You don't even have to be there. So if you're able to bring this giant thing in your checked bag or a smaller version of it, that's one idea. Another travel tip is, excuse me, everyone. Excuse me for that. I lost control of the camera here. Um, Another travel tip that I like to do is, of course, baking some bread in advance and bringing the loaf with you sliced. Freezing it maybe so that it can be frozen while it travels and therefore lasts longer. And if you can keep it frozen in your hotel, that's usually an option. If your hotel is equipped with a mini fridge, you can keep it cold or frozen, and that can help it with freshness. And you can have a loaf of bread last most of a week that way. And I'm only going to be in London for a week, so that's going to probably do it for me. So I'm setting up to bake a loaf of bread right now in my Zojirushi machine to take with me on my trip. So that's another idea. So tip number 3, after bringing your own bread machine on the trip, which is a possibility, although it's kind of a lot, and bringing already baked bread on the trip that you'll eat while you're there, trying your best to keep it fresh. My teacher, Dr. Vanessa Kimball, uses beeswax bags to keep her bread fresh. I personally don't have one yet, but that's a great idea. I've been using plastic bags. They don't let your bread breathe, but I mean, they do keep it safe. So that's what I've been doing. Another thing that I like to do is bring an electric travel kettle with me when I travel. I like to have hot tea, I like to have hot drinks, and soup. So I think a travel kettle is a really great idea. This is mine. I have a link to it in the handout for this month's lesson, which is travel tips with freshly milled flour. The other thing that I like to eat is like cream of wheat or farina, which is a hot cereal that you can make, like oatmeal, made of, if you bring some freshly milled flour with you, which I'm about to do, and I'll bring you through it in a demo after I explain all my 3 tips. We'll just like start them and I'll show that to you. But yeah, we can boil some water. We can add some freshly milled flour to the water, and in about 7 to 10 minutes, I like to do it in like a thermos like this one, which is from a company called Yumbox. And also this thermos, which you can find pretty easily at Target in America. It's a children's item, but also they have it for adults, and it comes with a foldable spoon in the lid and is a thermos. These are so great for making portable cream of wheat because you can take it with you. It's just drop it in your backpack and it's ready to go, and you even have a utensil and everything. So maybe you make the cream of wheat, stick it in here, give it a quick stir, and maybe throw in some toppings. You might want to bring some fresh fruit with you or buy it while you're there. Dried fruit's good. Nut butter is my favorite topping because it adds fat and protein into this. And if you add like some kind of sweet nut butter, like peanut butter or maple almond butter, that can really oomph the flavor of your cream of wheat or farina on the road. I have a child with me. It's going to be Easter, and I'm going to have my child with me in London. And like I said, my husband's having a conference, so he's going to be super busy. We're not going to have anything to do with him. So we're going to keep our freshly milled flour nutrition going while we are on the road. So let's get to it, everyone. I'm going to put this thing on my neck. Whoa, you're getting so close. And I'm going to turn the camera around. And we are going to make 1 loaf of bread in the Zojirushi machine. And we are also going to make some cream of wheat. So let's get started. Turn the beat around. All right, here are some other aspects to my strategy right here, which are these silicone stasher bags. Ignore this like stuff I have over here. So let's go ahead and get out the mock mill. I have the Professional 200, a great machine. It can run continuously, and I'm just gonna go ahead and take this hard red wheat right here. Over here's my hard red wheat stash and all of my flours and blends. If you've been with me for any amount of time, you might remember that I espouse not just freshly milled wheat, but milling blends of freshly milled wheat. So you might be able to notice, if you're very, observant, that these grains don't look completely identical and uniform. They are all different. There's about 15 maybe different varieties of wheat in here, plus some rye. And this is my hard wheat blend. Why do I bother to blend so much different wheats together? Because it benefits your gut microbiome. It increases the diversity of what you're eating and makes it so that you can have greater diversity in your gut, which helps you have better mental and physical health. You know, the fiber that is present in each of these grains is unique to that grain. And so having a diverse amount of different fibers helps you to feed a diverse amount of different gut microbes. And that helps you be healthy. Okay, we're going to add just like 1 scoop of this soft white wheat for additional diversity. And it is also a blend of oh no, I spilled. It is also a blend of several kinds of white wheats. It's so fun to be a shopper of wheats. You can try different kinds of grain out. You can try a bunch of different people if you want. I'm in America, and I have been ordering from Janie's Mill. I've been ordering from Breadtopia. I've been ordering from Palouse Brands. All right, and here is the Meadow Blend, which is a blend of legumes, seeds, flours, dried flours, that I add to my wheats as to have the presence of even more botanicals. There's about 17. So you're looking at something that has a 40 diversity score now, everything in that tiny little stasher bag right there. Okay, I'm going to grab a bowl from down here and put it under my mock mill, turn the mock mill on, and go ahead and pour this blend that we have made into the hopper right there. Here we go. Gonna make it I increased the grind, the amount the stones are apart. This is a measurement of that. It goes from 1 to like, I don't know, 20 over here, and you adjust it by turning the hopper like this. And usually I have it at the very finest level, which is when you can hear the stones touching. And then you pull it back from that so that they're not touching so much anymore. That's how you adjust your mock mill. Anyways, so now we have ground up our freshly milled flour that I can take on my trip. And when you grind your flour, it does sort of have the same weight but increase in volume. So luckily I have a larger stash bag. And I'll be just going ahead and putting this in there and bringing it with. I might freeze it tonight just to make it like last even longer, but I am satisfied. Of course, freshly milled flour does mean like freshly milled. And in my usual life, when I'm not traveling, I like to hit this thing to make it come out. Sometimes the flour is kind of in there. When I'm not traveling, I do like to freshly mill like right before baking, but and then when I am traveling, I have 1 or 2 little hints for the freshly milled, what's the word, purists out there. So, you know, my husband and I were were arguing about taking my mock mill on the flight when I took my Zojirushi machine to make bread in my hotel room. I also wanted to bring my mock mill. And my husband was like, it's so expensive. Why are you going to do that? It might get damaged. Why don't we think of something else? So we actually thought of coffee grinders, which is a perfectly fine way to grind your flour, especially if you're just starting out and on a budget and you don't want to invest in like a real mill yet. That is one idea. So we bought an inexpensive coffee mill from Target, the Cuisinart Burr grinder. It has a hopper and a little drawer underneath. And I was able to freshly mill my flour in my hotel room with my coffee grinder. And that gave me an idea for an even more portable idea for this, which is in the camping world. I used to work at REI. We do have a lot of like camping gear for the kitchen. So for example, let's go ahead and bring this freshly milled flour over here, and let's go ahead and open up this thing. You can get a coffee grinder, see, at REI that you can travel with that is like manual, and it's a lot of work, you know what I mean? It's kind of like this sort of thing for grinding pepper, you know, it's a mill kind of like this, and you turn the top of it and the pepper comes out for the pepper mill. For the wheat mill or the coffee mill that's manual, it's very similar. And so if you really, really, really need freshly milled, I mean, that's one way to go. So I have 2 tablespoons of cream of wheat in here, and I'm just going to go ahead and put like 4 tablespoons in there. 3, 4, and then I'm going to go ahead and put this boiling water that I already made in there, and a little bit of pinch of salt, and stir it up. And this will literally be my cream of wheat. I mean, it's really that easy. It's not that hard. It can be lumpy if you don't stir it while you're pouring in, okay. To be honest, I just did something a little bit bad. I put all the wheat in there, and then I poured this in there, and that's actually going to make it super lumpy. Look, mistakes were made. Mistakes were made. See that lumpiness? That is very hard to overcome, especially without like a whisk or a blender. So that was a mistake. Let's not make a mistake. Let's do a second one, and I'll show you a good way to do it. Whoops. You know, I am very tired, and I do have to pack still. All right, so let's go ahead and give this 4, I don't know, my tablespoon is over here and it's dirty. Let's get a new one. Let's get a new tablespoon. Okay, luckily I have a second one of these things, see, in my drawer. All right, so let's go ahead and put 4 tablespoons in this. Oh, no. Let's put the water in and stir this in, you know, right? Like drizzle this in and stir it. Anyway, you get it. You put boiling water and you put farina together, or you put this freshly milled flour together. And it's best if you stir it while adding it so you don't get those giant clumps that I got. There you go. And what's nice about the thermos is that you can kind of do this and then take it with you, and then later on it will be done, you know? All right, so Lucky, wishing you luck on making your cream of wheat on the road without lumps. I'll be practicing. Maybe follow me on Instagram or here on YouTube to find out if I succeed with this a little bit better than I have right now. Literally, guys, I'm on like very little sleep and I have to pack still, so under stress. But these are my ideas. I'm going to bake a loaf of bread. I'm going to take this with me, and I'm going to take these two thermoses with me, this guy right here, and my electric kettle. And I recommend that you do too, because this is a really fun thing. Like I said, my favorite addition to this is peanut butter or a nut butter of some kind. To me, that just completes up the meal so good. It's got salt, fat, sugar, protein. It's just great. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm sorry that I was not here for March. We're just going to wrap this up. I'm going to have to wash all this and pack it so I can go to London. Let me know if you want me to post from you from London of me like eating this farina or cream of wheat on the road, maybe in front of Buckingham Palace or Westminster Abbey or something. I'm really excited to go there and ride the double-decker buses and everything. So hope you're having a great Friday or any other day that you might be watching this. If you're interested in freshly milled flour, more on this, I will be doing a lesson every month. You can watch other lessons I've already done from January and February. Missed March, but there you go. Nobody's perfect, right? Hi, everybody. And it would be great to hear from you if you found these travel tips with freshly milled flour interesting and useful. And yeah, I'm also selling like an apron if you want to support me. It's called the Let's Get Baked with Michelle apron. I'm not wearing mine right now, but thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you next time. If you buy the apron, you get to join the private sesh with me at the end of the month on the final Friday, where we talk about baking stuff, and you can meet other people in the group. Thanks so much for joining. I appreciate you. Happy travels with freshly made flour with baking, and thanks for joining me for Let's Get Baked with Michelle. Bye.